Welcome to Module 12 of GenAI, from Zero to Hero. Until now, we've spent a lot of time understanding AI itself, how models work, how to prompt them, how agents use tools, how RAG connects AI with our data, and how we evaluate whether our systems actually work. Now we're going to turn all of that knowledge towards something you probably do every single day: knowledge work. Researching, reading, analyzing, writing, organizing, creating. And here's the mindset I want you to start with. Don't think of AI simply as a chatbot sitting inside a browser. Think of it as an intelligence layer around your work. Used correctly, AI doesn't replace your expertise. It helps you apply that expertise across far more information, far more quickly. That's what we're going to learn in this module. Think about your average working day. How much of it is actually spent making important decisions, and how much is spent searching for information, reading documents, summarizing emails, preparing reports, rewriting content, and trying to find something you know you've seen somewhere? This is the modern knowledge work problem. We don't necessarily suffer from a shortage of information anymore. We suffer from too much information and too little attention. This is exactly where AI becomes useful. For example, instead of spending an hour reading 5 project reports, imagine having AI extract the risks, decisions, dependencies, and unanswered questions first. You still examine what matters, but AI helps you decide where your attention deserves to go. That is augmentation, not replacing thinking, but protecting your thinking time. Here's an important distinction. If you use AI only to perform your existing work a little faster, you're missing much of its potential. Look at the traditional workflow. Research, read, take notes, analyze, write, edit. The human performs almost every information processing step. Now, look at the AI-augmented workflow. You define the goal. AI helps process the information. You apply judgment. AI helps refine. You approve the result. That's a fundamentally different way of working. Suppose you're preparing a competitor analysis. Don't ask AI to do competitor research. Give it verified material. Ask it to extract comparable information. Ask it to identify patterns. Then you decide what those patterns mean strategically. Here's the shift. Let AI carry more of the processing load so humans can carry more of the judgment load. I want you to remember these 5 words: think, delegate, review, refine, own. First, think. Define what you're trying to achieve before opening an AI tool. Second, delegate. Give AI tasks suited to its strengths. Third, review. Never confuse generated output with finished output. Fourth, refine. AI works exceptionally well through iteration. And finally, own. This is perhaps the most important step. If your name goes on the presentation, report, recommendation, or email, then you are responsible for it. Here's a simple habit. Before prompting AI, write your desired outcome in 1 sentence. If you can't explain what you want, AI probably can't reliably produce it. AI collaboration begins with human clarity. People often focus on AI's ability to generate content, but one of its greatest professional strengths is actually transformation. Give AI a complicated report and ask for a beginner-friendly explanation. That's transformation. Give it meeting notes and ask for decisions and action items. That's extraction and classification. Give it 3 proposals and ask for a comparison table. That's comparison. Give it rough notes and ask for a structured outline. That's organization and generation working together. So when looking at your daily workload, don't only ask, what can AI create for me? Ask, what information am I repeatedly transforming manually? Those repetitive transformations are often some of the safest and most valuable places to begin applying AI. AI can dramatically accelerate research, but I want you to use it differently from a search engine. Don't begin by asking, tell me everything about cybersecurity. Instead, ask AI to help you map the territory. For example, I'm preparing a briefing on cybersecurity risks for small businesses. What are the 7 questions my research should answer? Now AI helps create your research architecture. You can ask it to identify themes, competing viewpoints, terminology you need to understand, or areas where evidence may be weak. One technique I particularly recommend is asking, "What important question have I failed to ask?" That turns AI into a thinking partner. But remember, AI can help you discover what to investigate. It should not automatically become your evidence. Important facts still need verification. This distinction can completely change how you use AI for research. Summarization tells you what one source says. Synthesis connects meaning across multiple sources. Imagine you have 6 reports about the future of remote work. You could ask AI to summarize each one. Useful. But then ask, which 3 themes appear across at least 4 reports? Where do the authors disagree? What assumptions do they share? What conclusion becomes visible only when these sources are considered together? Now you're moving from compression to insight. A useful technique is to ask AI to create 3 columns: agreement, disagreement, evidence gap. That simple structure can turn a pile of reading material into a meaningful research map. That's where AI starts becoming genuinely powerful for knowledge work. A summary isn't one universal thing. Imagine you've received a 50-page market report. Your CEO may need 5 bullets. Your project team may need action items. Risk management may need only the threats. A new employee may need a beginner-friendly explanation. Same document, completely different summaries. So instead of prompting, "Summarize this document," try, "Create a 5-bullet executive summary focused on decisions leadership needs to make." Or, "Extract every action item, owner, deadline, and dependency mentioned." The trick is to specify audience plus purpose plus format. That's one of the easiest ways to improve AI summarization. Don't ask AI to make information shorter. Ask it to make information useful for someone specific. This is one of my favorite changes AI brings to knowledge work. For centuries, documents have been mostly linear: page 1, page 2, page 3. AI makes documents conversational. Suppose someone sends you a 60-page project report. Instead of immediately reading every page, begin with questions. What are the 3 largest risks? Which recommendations require additional budget? Which deadlines appear most vulnerable? Show me the sections supporting those conclusions. Now you know where deeper reading is required. Notice that I am not telling you to stop reading. I'm suggesting that AI can help you navigate before you read deeply. Think of AI as a knowledgeable guide walking through the document with you. You still inspect the evidence, but you reach the important evidence much faster. One of the worst AI writing habits is this: write one huge prompt, press enter, copy the result, done. Professional writing doesn't work like that, with humans or AI. Instead, think in stages: idea, outline, first draft, critique, rewrite, final. For example, don't ask, "Write my 1,500-word article." Start by exploring angles. Then choose one. Build the outline. Review the structure. Draft section by section. Then ask AI to critique weaknesses. Finally, rewrite. A powerful prompt at the critique stage is, "Do not rewrite this yet. Tell me the 5 biggest weaknesses." That forces evaluation before generation. The quality comes from the conversation between drafts, not from chasing the mythical perfect prompt. Let's make prompt quality practical. Write a report about AI. That's not really an instruction. It's a topic. Instead, give AI 5 things: context, audience, goal, source, constraints. For example, I'm preparing a 2-page briefing for non-technical department managers. Explain 3 ways generative AI could improve internal productivity. Use the attached research as the factual source. Avoid technical jargon. Include benefits, risks, and 3 recommended next steps. Notice the difference. AI now understands what it's doing, for whom, Why, using what evidence, and within what boundaries. Here's the trick. Before submitting an important prompt, ask yourself, does AI know the situation, audience, outcome, evidence, and boundaries? If not, improve the brief before blaming the model. Sometimes you shouldn't ask AI to write anything from scratch. Write it yourself. Then use AI as your editor. This is especially useful when your expertise, personality, or professional credibility matters. Suppose you've written an important leadership email. Instead of asking AI to replace it, say, preserve my meaning and voice. Identify unclear sentences, unnecessary repetition, and places where the tone could sound defensive. Or, make this easier to read without making it sound generic. That's a much better relationship with AI. Your ideas remain yours. Your expertise remains yours. AI helps improve the packaging. For writers, teachers, leaders, and subject matter experts, this can be one of the most valuable uses of GenAI. Let's move beyond give me 10 ideas. That's useful but basic. The more interesting use of AI is intellectual opposition. Suppose you've developed a new business proposal. Ask, give me the strongest argument against this proposal. Then, what assumption am I making without evidence? Then, if you were the CFO, what would concern you? Then, if you were the customer, what would you question? Suddenly, AI isn't just generating ideas, it's helping you examine your own thinking from multiple directions. Try assigning AI different lenses: skeptic, customer, competitor, investor, beginner, expert. The purpose isn't to let AI decide who's correct, it's to expose you to questions you may not have considered. Use AI to widen your thinking, then use your judgment to narrow it. Meetings create enormous amounts of useful information. Unfortunately, much of it disappears the moment everyone leaves the room. AI can change that. Take a meeting transcript or detailed notes and ask AI to separate 4 things: discussion, decisions, actions, open questions. Then ask, who owns each action? What deadlines were mentioned? Which decisions were discussed but never finalized? Here's an especially useful trick. Ask AI to produce a decision log, not just a meeting summary. A summary tells you what people talked about. A decision log tells you what actually changed because of the meeting. That distinction is incredibly useful for managers. Of course, when working with meeting transcripts, always respect your organization's privacy and data handling policies. Organizations rarely have a knowledge shortage. They have a knowledge retrieval problem. Someone solved a similar customer issue 6 months ago. Someone created the perfect presentation last year. A critical decision is buried inside meeting notes. A useful process exists somewhere inside a 20-page document, but nobody can find it when they need it. This is where AI becomes more than a productivity tool. It can become a knowledge interface. Imagine employees asking, how did we solve this problem previously? And receiving answers grounded in company documents, policies, reports, and approved knowledge. The competitive advantage isn't merely owning more information. It's making existing organizational knowledge accessible at the moment of need. This should sound familiar from Module 10. RAG allows us to connect AI with our own information. Now imagine applying that personally. Your notes, research, previous reports, project documents, lessons learned, meeting summaries. Instead of searching folders manually, you ask, what did I learn about this client during the last project? Or compare my research from last quarter with what I'm working on now. This creates something much more valuable than a folder of files. It creates a personal knowledge assistant. One tip: organize the source material before expecting magic. Good naming, clean documents, dates, project labels, and reliable source material make retrieval much more useful. AI amplifies organized knowledge far better than digital clutter. This slide gives us the core framework for the module: capture, understand, create, review, store, reuse. Capture useful information. Use AI to understand it through summarization, extraction, and analysis. Create something valuable from that understanding. Review it with human judgment. Store the useful result in a way you can retrieve later, then reuse that knowledge on the next project. This final step is often forgotten. Imagine producing a brilliant research report and then letting it disappear into a folder forever. That's wasted knowledge. Instead, ask, how can what I created today make tomorrow's work easier? When knowledge gets reused, its value compounds. That's how AI can help us move from individual productivity toward genuine knowledge systems. This may be the most important slide in Module 12. AI can help research, AI can draft, AI can analyze, AI can organize, but AI cannot accept responsibility for your decision. Imagine a manager saying, I approved the wrong numbers because ChatGPT gave them to me. That doesn't transfer accountability to the model. If the decision matters, the human must verify the evidence and own the outcome. A useful rule is delegate processing, retain judgment. The higher the consequence, the stronger the human review should be. A social media caption and a financial recommendation should obviously not have the same verification threshold. Use AI aggressively where it helps, but increase human oversight as risk and consequence increase. Yes, AI can actually make your work worse. And usually the problem isn't AI itself, it's how we use it. Blind copy-paste creates errors. Weak context creates generic output. Hallucinations create false confidence. Generic AI writing can erase your expertise and personality, and over-automation can make people stop thinking critically. Here's a simple warning sign. If AI is producing more content, but you're spending less time thinking about what that content means, something may be wrong. Productivity isn't measured by how many words AI generates. It's measured by whether the final work creates value. Don't optimize for more output. Optimize for better outcomes. Here are 6 habits I want you to turn into muscle memory. Start with a clear objective. Provide context. Break complicated tasks into stages. Use trusted source material. Verify important claims, and review before publishing or deciding. One technique I strongly recommend is separating generation from verification. First, ask AI to create, then begin a new evaluation step. Now act as a critical reviewer. Identify unsupported claims, missing evidence, logical weaknesses, and assumptions. Even better, verify important claims against the original source yourself. AI should accelerate the path from information to understanding. It should never remove the quality gate, and that quality gate is you. Let's put everything together. Imagine your manager gives you 5 reports and asks for a strategic briefing by tomorrow. Traditionally, you might spend hours reading, highlighting, taking notes, comparing documents, outlining, drafting, and editing. With AI, the workflow changes. You select trustworthy sources. AI summarizes them. AI extracts relevant facts. AI compares them. AI identifies themes. AI helps structure an outline. AI produces a first draft. Then you review the evidence, challenge the conclusions, correct weaknesses, and approve the final deliverable. Notice the division of labor. AI handles processing. Human handles direction and judgment. That is the pattern I want you to begin implementing in your own work. Now it's your turn. Choose 3 to 5 documents about a topic you genuinely care about. Don't just watch this exercise, actually do it. First, summarize each document. Then, extract facts. Identify themes, compare viewpoints, find contradictions and missing information. Build an outline. Generate the first draft. Then, critique it. Verify the important claims against the original documents. Finally, produce your report. Here's an extra trick. Save the prompts that worked well. You're not merely creating one report, you're creating a reusable workflow. The next time you receive 5 documents, you won't start from zero. You'll already have a process. That's when AI productivity begins to compound. when good workflows become repeatable assets. Some people look at AI and ask, if AI can summarize, analyze, and write, what happens to knowledge workers? I think that's the wrong question. A better question is, where does human value move? If AI handles more repetitive information processing, humans can spend more time on interpretation, creativity, relationships, strategy, and judgment. Think about calculators. They didn't make mathematical thinking irrelevant. They changed which calculations humans needed to perform manually. AI may do something similar for knowledge work. The advantage will increasingly go to people who can define better problems, ask better questions, evaluate evidence, connect ideas, and make responsible decisions. AI reduces the value of some repetitive tasks. It can simultaneously increase the value of human judgment. Look at what you've learned in this module. Research faster, summarize for different audiences, analyze documents conversationally, synthesize multiple sources, draft and edit content, turn meetings into actions, build reusable knowledge. These aren't isolated tricks. Together, they create a new professional capability. I call it augmented intelligence, human expertise plus AI capability. The AI contributes speed, scale, pattern processing, and generation. You contribute context, experience, creativity, judgment, values, and accountability. Don't compete with AI at the things machines increasingly do well. Learn to combine those capabilities with the things humans do exceptionally well. That's where the real productivity advantage lies. If you remember only 5 habits from this module, remember these. Think before you delegate. Know the outcome before asking AI for help. Provide context before expecting quality. Don't make AI guess what you mean. Verify before you trust. Confident language is not evidence. Refine before you publish. Your first output is a starting point, not the finish line. And finally, own the outcome. AI should never become an excuse for weaker thinking. The strongest AI professionals aren't people who hand everything to machines. They're people who understand precisely where AI helps, where humans matter, and how to combine both intelligently. Stay in the driver's seat. So far, Module 12 has largely focused on the individual professional. How can you research faster? How can you analyze information? How can you create better knowledge workflows? In Module 13, we're going to zoom out. What happens when these capabilities move across an entire organization? We'll explore AI for business and operations. Processes, operational efficiency, decision-making, customer experience, team productivity. This is where AI stops being only a personal productivity advantage and starts becoming an organizational capability. So as you finish this module, start thinking beyond your own tasks. Ask yourself, which workflow in my organization could AI fundamentally improve? Keep that question with you. We're going to need it in Module 13. And that brings us to the end of Module 12 of GenAI, from zero to hero. If there is one idea I want you to carry forward, it's this. The goal of AI is not to remove you from your work. It's to increase the value you bring to it. Use AI to process more information. Use it to challenge your thinking. Use it to organize knowledge. Use it to accelerate creation. But keep human expertise, curiosity, judgment, and accountability at the center. If this course is helping you become more confident with AI, subscribe to the Genius Circuit, explore the earlier modules, and continue with us into Module 13. For more practical AI tutorials, frameworks, and learning resources, visit thegeniuscircuit.com. The future won't simply belong to people who use AI. It will belong to people who learn how to work intelligently with it. This is the Genius Circuit, where intelligence meets integrity. I'll see you in Module 13.